The question was raised once that if we go deeper and transcend the mind and the body, what's going to happen to all our relationships, the emotions, the love, the connections? Won't we become like a stone without emotions? So it's a valid question because we all come from sansar. And in sansar, connections are everything. Emotions, feelings, thoughts about connecting. We have to gradually analyze our position in the sansar. Every single relationship that we have has been created out of our needs. We need comfort of knowing that I have a child I can love. I have a husband I can love. I have a wife I can love. All our relationships, the parents, friends, everything is created based on the need. And that is the only reason we are running towards sansar, to fulfill those needs. So in a way, we are dependent on all these relationships. Even to give love, we are dependent. Out of most of the sansaric loves, the only purest love that is possible is that of mother and the child, where mother does not want anything from the child. The love of the mother just flows. That's the only relationship that comes close to the relationship of the God with the rest of the world and His creations. But that is the light of a candle compared to the light of sun, which is ever bright and spreading all the time. Other than the mother and child relationship, every relationship we create are because of our inner deficiencies. We need people's company. That's why we have friends. We feel incomplete in our tastes, so we explore different foods, the objects of pleasures. So wherever there is a need, which is the underlying basis of creating the relationship, obviously we will become dependent on the sansar to fulfill those needs. And sansar can be cruel. Whatever you want to get to fulfill your incompleteness, it may be available sometimes, may not be available sometimes. Depends on the moods and the minds of the giver, or change of situations. We want warmer temperatures, and the nature doesn't want to give. We are unhappy. We want company from the friends. Friend is busy. We are unhappy. So most of our connections are based on our needs rather than somebody else's needs. So these relationships are based on expecting things from the world. The world that is changing all the time. We want our child to stay with us whole life. But the reality is the child is changing physically, mentally, and his own needs, of course, also mean a lot. He is also a soul who is born in this world with his own or her own incompleteness, to fulfill desires, to feel complete. So the child doesn't stay with us anymore. We are upset. So all these emotions and relationships, we think that's the only thing we have, because that's the only thing we know. But going into the meditation and under the light of full awareness, if we can analyze that we are living the life of a beggar, where things have to come to us so that we feel better. For that, we keep our mind active, we keep our body active. And for many lives we have done this. So, when the time comes in the meditation to come to terms with this mechanism through which we're receiving pleasures, it's uncomfortable to give up what we have been doing for all these lives. And when the awareness, the light of awareness starts shining, you reach to the point of completeness with the infinite awareness. And then you realize the finiteness of this relationship, incompleteness of this relationship, the basic nature of this relationship, which is based on the needs of one person versus the others, the capacity of one person to deliver what the other person needs versus what other person wants. It's a continuous struggle, continuous suffering, until you reach to the consciousness state where all these frictions end, but the old mind does not want to give up the lifestyle that it has been used to. So we doubt the new arrival in our life, the new situation where we don't need anything from the world, and it makes you uncomfortable. So far, we desired something, and that's why we approached people. And we used to believe that these people, these objects, these situations are important to me. So we put a lot of importance to these situations, but we don't realize these were all results of our desires. So a true love that you can imagine, the love of a mother to a child, that kind of love just does not exist in any other relationship. But then again, mother's love is also limited to her own children, not to the child of the next door, at least not to that degree. So when you transcend the mind and the body, the awareness that is flowing freely is what created the whole world. then you become the mother of the whole world. Now you are in the infinite state where everyone that you can touch through your awareness becomes your child. So the expansion of motherhood becomes infinite. And this is the only state where you feel complete, because now you are connected with every single person, every single creature, every single animal in the world. All the galaxies, the moons, you touch them with your awareness. And in this awareness, feeling of awareness, completeness comes. You feel totally satisfied with your own state of completeness. And now you approach the sansar in a different way, where you don't need anything from the sansar, but you are ready to share your completeness, the joy of completeness with the world. Along with the completeness feeling comes the wisdom from right and wrong. Now you see the people running after objects of pleasures, people, situations, continuously, not knowing that right in their backyard is the source of completeness. And now you feel sorry for them because you have found the joy of completeness. Buddha always said, if someone comes to me crying that they have lost one of their loved ones, I may not be able to cry with them, to sympathize that I feel bad that you have lost someone. But I will have karuna for them because they are ignorant. Whatever they believed, these relationships had arisen out of their own greed, own desires. The connections that we all think that are mine, when they come to an end, our ego feels a loss. And that's why they are suffering. But the only reason I will have karuna for them, that I can make them realize their true nature, where there is nothing but completeness. And when there is completeness, there is no need to cry. So, I may not be able to share their suffering. And I do feel bad, but I cannot help it. Until they rise spiritually themselves, I cannot make them realize that what they are crying for is not even worth crying for. It's a shift of consciousness that happens within us, and we are not ready for it. That's why the question arises that what will happen to our emotions and love for others. Our love for others is conditional. But unconditional love is the only one that will give you the comfort. And once that arises, the questions will subside by themselves. And you reach to the state of samadhi, which is sumta, where you remained totally balanced, not affected by your worldly relationships, which now you realize were nothing more than the dew that is sitting on the leaves or the flowers in the morning. It's going to evaporate as soon as the sun rises. That is the nature of our sansaric relationships. This is the time to meditate, go within, raise your awareness, and in the light of awareness, all the sansaric relationships, the meaning of it, the pleasure of it will disappear. And now you will have a different joy that will bind you to the whole world.